Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Senator Kwesi Thompson for inviting me here, and Damian Blackburn of Alive for making it possible for me to be here. I'm not very good at speechifying, so I'm just going to give you a bunch of stories. Now, my good friend, the bush tea lady from Nassau, Mrs. Sweeting, said that to tell stories to Bahamians, you have to stand on the stage, chew tobacco, and spit white lime. I'm not sure what that means, but let's just... And I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Moxie, what he said. I can leave now. And we both chose the theme of imagination without even consulting each other, but that's the key for everything. I present a different view of what's going on because I believe that the Grand Bahama can leapfrog several technology steps using emergent technologies, and one of them is the technologies that both Kimberly and I will speak about. I'd like you to imagine a piece of technology that implemented now, hello, thank you, solve several difficult and long-standing problems that have been a significant drag on the economy of the Bahamas. And it will also kickstart this hub. Everybody in the building knows that we have a problem with illegal immigration. Imagine the Bahamas where the immigration status of any individual can be verified immediately by the authorities with a live mobile phone. It is that easy. It is that easy. Policemen carrying mobile phones can check the immigration status of anybody. We have a problem targeting the right tourists. This morning I tweeted, "Good morning, world. It's a beautiful day in Grand Bahama," with a picture outside my window. And the picture's wonderful. Tourism needs specific targeting. Imagine the Bahamas with e-immigration cards. You know how you have to fill in the papers when you come in there? Getting information. Imagine recording digitally. Imagine recording it when you sign up for your tour or when you're on the airplane on your mobile device. Imagine using that data. It gives you an opportunity to ask further questions. What do you like? Where do you want to go? Do you want to ride the horses? I don't know if they still have the horse riding in the surf of Grand Bahama here. And using machine learning analytics in blockchain. This is not my idea. This is a Bahamian invention. The inventor is Vincent Vanderpool Wallace. He reached out to me to build this. I've built one. It's not vaporware. It's real, on a real blockchain. And I have a proof of concept. I was going to demonstrate it as part of my speech, but since the computers are all there, anybody who wants to see the demonstration of a real blockchain immigration application that will do all of this thing, I have it. We have a problem with an up-to-date and easy access land registry. I was just reading, yeah, big time. Imagine where looking up land titles is as easy as a Google search. I just read the problems last week in the Bahamian media about the quieting of titles and the problems of all that. Yes, there's a big, big job to put everything into the blockchain, but once you're there, problem is solved forever. Imagine computerizing, creating a model e-government with common technology platforms across all ministries without spending millions of dollars, using Bahamian talent and emergent technologies. There's absolutely no reason why the government of the day had to pay $10 million for an automobile registry and then is paying another $3 million for procurement. And those two systems don't talk to each other, and they have to spend millions of dollars in software support, where you form a Bahamian technical platform team that not only makes these applications across each ministry, but supports them. That is incredibly... I spent 16 years as a technical architect for the Canadian government. I was the technical architect for the 38th general election. And this is the pattern that we did. You don't pay the offshore companies, you build your own, and that has other benefits. I'll move on later. Imagine the Freedom of Information portal. using secure emergent blockchain technology. An earlier speaker said it's the people's time. And imagine a technology to show the people where the people's money is being spent. And you know what? This can be done in a couple of months without millions of dollars. Imagine creating the seeds of a knowledge industry in the Bahamas to overtake the first two pillars of the economy and create high-quality jobs for Bahamians. We have a few structural things to do this. I'd like to just point out to the Port Authority when they're looking at licensees and when they're looking at fees, and the government as well. There's a man named Loom, Jan Loom. He lived on food stamps for 18 months. 18 months later, Google bought his company for $19 billion, and the company is WhatsApp. If that man was going to come to the Grand Bahama Technology Center and try to start it, and he was asked for $1,000 up front here, for a $2,000 front up here, he couldn't do it. We need to absolutely lower the barrier so that people can... Now, the technology that I'm bringing to the table is blockchain. And everyone's heard about blockchain. And blockchain will be a key to the digital transformation of the Bahamas. And it will be a key to building an emergent technology that could be able to Grand Bahama to leapfrog over the traditional steps of creating a tech center and getting right to the core. Oops. This is... Everyone says the future of blockchain. Who understands it? It's my job here to tell you about it. I'll hurry up. This is the 13-word explanation of blockchain. Solving problems you never knew you had with technology you don't understand. To make you understand it, I'm going to explain how blockchain works using people. Let's suppose we have an imaginary country called Nusuvia. Let's suppose the finance minister, Mr. Kaput, at least I think that's how you pronounce KPT, sorry, arranges his finance department such that he has 5 accountants. Each accountant has a copy of the same ledger. He wants to spend $10 million on the space programs, and it's done by an agency called the Bahamas Aeronautic and something, BAMSI or something. Too far? Too much? He emails all of those accountants. And he says, I want to spend $10 million. Do I have the money? Each of the accountants goes to their ledger and they look it up. 4 out of the 5 accountants say, yes, we have the money to spend it. And you take a look at Mr. Very there. He's vexed. Maybe BPL turned off his power or he had a fight with the wife or something. But he sends a message saying, we don't have the money. Mr. Kaput takes a look at the 5 emails. 4 of them says we have, yes, we do. And the 5th one says we don't. What's he going to do? He takes a consensus. And the consensus votes we have the money. That's the first step of blockchain, consensus. Second step, it's distributed. Now, BAMSI comes looking for their payment. The payment is made. But you see Miss Block there? Her cousin actually works there. And he said, why don't you submit the invoice again? We'll get double paid. Too close? Once again, Minister Kaput sends out an email saying, have we paid this? 4 out of the 5 say yes. We've paid it. No more money. What's missing from this picture? The chief financial controller. There's no central authority. And you're going to hear these words wherever you read it. They say blockchain disintermediates third parties. That means it operates autonomously. It operates by itself. Now, when you hear about blockchain, you hear about Bitcoin. You hear about cryptocurrency. I want nothing. That's Kimberly's job. I'm going to talk to you about enterprise blockchain that holds data and does e-government jobs and builds a technology industry. Blockchains hold any kind of data, including values, and this is why you can have a Bitcoin cryptocurrency, because it holds a value. And the reason it does that is that if you have an electronic dollar, what's to prevent you from copying it or spending it twice? It's the cryptography in blockchain, it's the coding, I won't even go into it, but it's that prevents it from a double spend and prevents it from duplication. It's distributed, as we saw with all the accountants. It's immutable. You can't rub it out. The only way you can make it is change it is to do a correction. It's transparent. Every block is visible if they're permissioned. So you can trace the entire history of that $10 million all the way through the system. And of course, I mentioned disintermediates third parties. No central controller. Now, I don't want you to, this is something, I'm not going to read this or anything, but here's what I want you to think about blockchain. Blockchain is a brand new technology like the internet. It is as fundamental to human beings as the invention of electricity. Those are serious words, but this is where we are standing on the precipice of a total transformation of society using blockchain. It can be used for votes, any tangible and intangible things. But if you take it a step further, and despite the cryptocurrencies and despite the land registry and despite the immigration status, it's a way of organizing human activity. And this is where it is transformational and it is disruptive. And how? The young entrepreneurs sitting in the audience will figure that out. And they will make billions of dollars doing it. I don't think I need to go into this. Blockchain, the reason why blockchains are like that is because the first block references the second block references the third block. You can't change it. And each block has the information to create the previous blocks. That's all you really need to know. I'm running short of time, so I'm going to hurry this up. This is what I want the minister to know. The creation of a technical platforms group using Bahamians, using the Bahamians you have now, using a technology stack with the emergent technology that I will give to the Bahamas. I've already built it. This is the start of a knowledge industry. I come from Ottawa, Canada. The government started something called the National Research Council. They let two contracts, one to a company that I work for called Computing Devices, which is now owned by General Dynamics, and to another one called Advanced Microsystems Limited. So we built, from that basis, it's now called Silicon Valley North. There are 1,700 companies, and there are 86,000 employees. And it all started because you create a group in the knowledge industry. Somebody gets a better idea, and you know what you do? You don't slap them down. You give them money, and you say, go. How do you start? Like the recipes, how do we get going? How do we get going? If it were announced that the government of the Bahamas created even one small application, a Freedom of Information application, remember I told you about spending the people's money? In 3 months at a minimal cost, the news will reverberate around the world. The Bahamas is now seriously into blockchain and seriously into blockchain technology. And the last one references my colleague's invention, Vincent Vanderpool Wallace, of getting immigration online. And the nice part is even if someone's admitted and they don't have a passport or a card, they have a little sticker on the back, instantly, you don't have to round them up, you don't have to do anything, and this is possible now. I have some non-blockchain things that I'd like to bring to the attention of the minister and I'd like to bring to the attention of you people. There are better jobs than tourism jobs. Tourism is the first pillar of the economy. It's an important pillar of the economy. But nobody knows that there are HCM, human contact moderation jobs. I know for a fact a company in Berlin is now looking for 300 people. Most of these jobs go to the Philippines because they speak English and they can tell whether it's a dirty picture or not. Facebook, Instagram, every single major social media uses HCM, human content moderation. You have a room full of people and their job is to look at pictures all day. It pays more than minimum wage. They're on technology platforms, and it brings a heck of a lot of money into the country. The last thing is, Dr. Moxie said we need to bring in people. What if you could fill this hotel with digital nomads? You have no idea of how many there are there. There are literally tens and hundreds of thousands. These are people who work for companies. I worked for a company, I managed 12 programmers, and I lived 1,200 kilometers away. I traveled maybe once every 3 months. These are called digital nomads. The paradigm, the dated paradigm of sun, sand, and sea in casino is really dated in a lot of, people want the experiential things. My daughter wants to go zip lining in the tropical forest canopy. But you know who likes that? Digital nomads. They know that they can get out there and they can kite surf and they can go and they can drink some daiquiris and then they come back and work. And to them, it's nirvana. And you have to capitalize on this market. You can catch it. And this will bring tech tourism. You got a whole bunch of digital nomads. I recently spoke in September 23rd in the Cayman Islands on blockchain technology. And the room was overfilled to capacity because all of the tech people who congregate in the Caribbean filled it. And not only you had them, but you had the banks, you had the financial services group. And the whole concept of being able to work and play without the necessity of, you have to open an American bank account, that has to change. But the coming here and just rotating them through and contributing, literally, they earn their money offshore and they make millions and millions of dollars into the local economy. I was going to demo my live blockchain. I don't have my computer here, but I'll willingly demo it in real life time. I've got it on the Amazon EC2 cloud, a real blockchain if anyone wants to see it, or maybe we'll have a session later on or whatever. But it exists. This is the invention of Vincent van der Poel Wallace, and it's highly exploitable now.